Hello, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining us once again and welcome back. We are discussing today the applications of corporate tax on the trading companies in the UAE. So let's get the webinar. Just we'll go through our previous lectures. In our previous lectures, we have already discussed so many things about 22 webinars that we have already delivered, and it covers overview of the UAE corporate tax law, scope, resident and non-resident persons, exempt persons, out of scope persons, UAE sourced income, permanent establishment and its history, application of corporate tax on the partnerships, corporate tax on the free zones, application of corporate tax on the family foundations and trust, how to compute the taxable income, unrealized gain and losses on assets and liabilities, deductible expenses, interest capping rules, cabinet, ministerial and federal decisions, small business reliefs, tax grouping, tax loss provisions, reliefs of free zones, free zone consultation paper we'll discuss in detail. In our last webinar, we'll discuss participative interest and its taxation. In this webinar, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be discussing application of corporate tax on the trading companies. So the trading companies, like any other company, the corporate tax is applicable on the trading companies as well, but there are some certain special provision for the trading companies. So these trading companies can be a natural person, might be an individual, might be a sole establishment or civil company. We all know the definition of natural person. So there is a possibility, sorry, there is a possibility that an individual is doing the trading, natural person is doing the trading, sole establishment is doing the trading, civil company is doing the trading, or there is a possibility that any juridical person, we know who are the juridical person. These juridical persons are limited liabilities company, public joint stock companies, funds, foundation which are legally structured like that. They're the juridical persons. So there is a possibility that individual and natural person is trading, or there is a possibility that the juridical persons are doing the trading. So we'll look into this. What will be the implications of corporate tax if the natural person is doing the trading, and what are the implications of corporate tax if the juridical person is doing the trading? As we know, the natural persons, as I mentioned earlier, the natural person can be sole establishment, it can be a civil company, or it can be a freelancer. If any natural person is doing the trading in the UAE, there is a possibility that the natural person is registered in the free zone, or the natural person is registered on the mainland or out of the free zone. As per the UAE corporate tax law, it doesn't matter either you are registered in the free zone or you are registered on the mainland if you are trading as a natural person. But if you are trading as a juridical person, yes, it matters. Are you registered in the free zone or you registered out of the free zone? But if you are working as a natural person, you are working as a sole establishment, you are working as a civil company, or you are working as an individual in your individual capacity, then it doesn't matter either you are in the free zone or you are out of the free zone. The taxability, the applications of the corporate tax in both of the situation is same. For the natural persons, natural trading persons, income below 1 million dirham. If your income is below 1 million dirham, and while calculating this income, we will not calculate the person income of the natural person. Like if someone is getting salaries, if someone is getting income from the shares, if someone has investment in the property in its individual capacity and they are getting any income, so these income will not be considered while calculating this 1 million dirham. So if the natural person is deriving any income other than these three income and the income is below 1 million dirham, then the law says these natural persons Then the law says natural persons are not liable to register and their income will be considered not subject to corporate tax. They will not be liable to register. They will not be liable to pay the corporate tax. They will be out of the scope of the UAE corporate tax law. Now there is a possibility that the income is below 3 million dirham. Now income is above 1 million and below 3 million dirham. If the income is below 3 million dirham, then special privilege has been provided to the natural persons as well, that the income will not be subject to corporate tax by the end of 2026. So the first category, they will not be subject to corporate tax. The second category, they will be exempt. They will not be subject to corporate tax by the end of December 31st, 2026. The second category, they will be liable to corporate tax. They will be liable to register. They will be liable to submit the return, but their income will not be taxable. In the first category, they will not be registered. They will not be straightforward. They will be out of the corporate tax. In the third category, if the natural person is doing the trading and from the trading they are earning any income and the annual income is more than 3 million dirham, then if the annual income is more than 3 million dirham, in this situation, if the income is more than 3 million dirham, then in this situation, any income up to 375,000, we all know this 0% corporate tax will be applicable. If the income is more than taxable income, we need to map the accounting income into the taxable income. We need to map the accounting profits into the taxable profits. We need to make all sort of adjustments. So once we are mapping, we are converting accounting income into the taxable income, then the total taxable income up to 375,000, 0% corporate tax will be applicable, and any taxable income beyond 375,000, 9% corporate tax will be applicable. So the important thing in the natural person is 0% privilege is not available to the natural person. 0% qualifying income privilege is only available to the qualifying free zone person. For the natural person, it doesn't matter. The natural person is in the free zone, natural person is out of the free zone. In both of the cases, they're out of the 0% privilege, but the special privilege has been given to the natural person. If the income is up to 1 million, out of the scope. If the income up to 3 million, they are not subject to corporate tax. Their corporate tax will not be, they will not be liable to pay any corporate tax by the end of 2026. But if the taxable annual income is more than 3 million dirham, 0% up to 375,000, more than 375,000, 9% corporate tax will be applicable. Now, application of corporate tax is in the juridical person. There is a possibility, as I mentioned in the very beginning, that someone is doing the trading business in the capacity of a juridical person. We know who are the juridical person. Juridical persons are the limited liability companies, public joint stock companies, foundations, trust, which is legally structured like that, they are acting as a company. So if someone is working as a juridical person, then this juridical person, it matters now. The juridical person is in the free zone or the juridical person is out of the free zone. If the juridical persons who is doing trading or any other business, what right now we are discussing trading. If the juridical business, juridical persons, if the limited liability company is a juridical person and this person is within the free zone, or there is a possibility the person is out of the free zone. Once the person is in the free zone, then we need to look into this. The person is a qualifying free zone person. We all know there are 6 conditions for the qualifying free zone person. If the person is a qualifying free zone person, there are 6 conditions. The person is meeting the 6 conditions, and the person, there is a possibility now. If the person is a qualifying free zone person, might be the person having a transaction with another free zone person, might be it matters that the person is having a transaction with a non-free zone person. If the person has a transaction with the free zone person, if the qualifying free zone person has any transaction with the free zone person, then the law says it will be considered a qualifying income. And what are those 6 conditions? Those 6 conditions are, first of all, person meeting the requirement, like the person is complying with the TP rules and regulation. They have adequate substance in the free zone. Third, they have not opted to be tax subject to tax. Fourth, they have the audited financial statements. Fifth, they are meeting the de minimis criteria. And one more condition is there as well. So these 6 conditions are there. If the free zone person, if the company registered within the free zone, if the company incorporated within the free zone, if this company is meeting all these 6 conditions, then we can say the person is a qualifying free zone person. Now, the qualifying free zone person, if the qualifying free zone person is dealing with the other free zone person, law says for the trading business, if they are dealing with the other free zone person, then the income, whatever they are getting from the other free zone person, it will be a qualifying income. It will be subject, it will not subject to 0% corporate tax. So if the qualifying free zone persons having any transaction with any other free zone person, if the qualifying free zone trading company having any transaction with any other free zone person, 0% corporate tax will be applicable. Now, if the qualifying free zone person having any transaction with the non-free zone person, assuming in the first situation, they the company in Jafza, they are dealing with any other company with the safe free zone. One company is in Jafza, second company is in the safe free zone. Both are the free zones. And assuming Jafza company, the qualifying free zone person, whenever they are doing any transaction with the safe free zone company, whatever the income they are getting from this transaction, it will be a qualifying income. Now there is a possibility that the Jafza company, which is a company which is in the Jafza, that Jafza company has any transaction on the with the mainland party, with a non-free zone person. If the Jafza company has any transaction with the non-free zone person, then the law says that the Jafza company is selling the goods to a distributor or end user. This distributor might be anywhere across the globe. There is a possibility that the Jafza company is selling the goods from Jafza to the mainland. There is a possibility that Jafza company is selling the goods from the Jafza to any other party across the globe. There is a possibility that the Jafza company is importing the goods from China and selling it to any African country. The multiple options are there. But the important thing is this Jafza company, which is a qualifying free zone person, which is meeting all those 6 conditions. If this Jafza company is selling the goods to the distributor, not to the end user, then the law says whatever the income they are getting from the distribution business, it will be considered a qualifying income. And any income other than distribution business, it will not be considered a qualifying income. It will be subject to tax. So let me summarize it. If any company is a registered within the free zone and is a qualifying free zone person, if the company is dealing any transaction, having any transaction with the other free zone person, qualifying income subject to tax at 0%. If the qualifying free zone persons having any transaction with the non-free zone person, might be third port shipment, might be directly good, they are moving to the designated zone and selling on the mainland. In both of the cases, in all these situations, whatever the income they are getting from the distribution business, that will be 0%. Other than distribution business, it will be subject to tax at 9%. Now, the option is the juridical persons, as we discussed in the very beginning, this juridical person is registered out of the free zone. If the juridical person is registered out of the free zone, then 0% privilege will not be available to the non-free zone person. So if anyone who is registered on the mainland, they are doing the trading business. Once they are doing the trading business, so up to 375,000, they will be liable to pay 0% corporate tax on their taxable profits. Any taxable profits more than 375,000, they will be liable to pay 9% corporate tax. So the treatment of non-qualifying free zone person, if anyone is not meeting the conditions out of the 6 conditions, even the business is registered within the free zone, and you are not meeting out of the six, there are six conditions. If you are not meeting any one of them, means you will be converted into non-qualifying free zone person, and you will not be liable to take the benefits, I think, in the current tax period, next 4 tax period. So if once you are converting to non-qualifying free zone person, there is no difference in between taxation. This is very important what I'm saying. If you have been converted as a non-qualifying free zone person, there is no difference in between taxation. Either you are registered on the mainland, or either you are registered within the free zone and you are a non-qualifying free zone person. Your taxability will be same. In both of these situations, you will not be able to enjoy the 0% qualifying income taxation. You will be liable to map your accounting profit into your taxable profits. Up to 375,000, you will be liable to pay 0%, and beyond this, you will be liable to pay 9%. It doesn't matter. Either you are in the free zone, you are out of the free zone. So non-qualifying free zone persons or company which has been incorporated on the UAE mainland, treatment will be same. Third possibility, as I mentioned, a resident juridical person we have discussed. Now there is a possibility that the person is a non-resident juridical person. Non-resident means the company is out of the UAE, but the company is engaged in the trading business. Assuming there is a company in UK. This company has a branch in UAE. Once the company has a branch in UAE, this company is being controlled and managed, assuming out of the UAE. Once this is controlled and managed out of the UAE, it will be considered non-resident juridical person. Now the company has a branch within the UAE. Once the company has a branch within the UAE, it will be considered permanent establishment of the non-resident person. Now the permanent establishment of the non-resident person, law is very clear. Law is saying income attributable to the PE of the non-resident person will be subject to tax within the UAE. So now the PE of the non-resident person, there is a possibility this PE of the non-resident person is on the mainland, or this PE of the non-resident person within the free zone. If within the free zone, then the question arises, this PE is a qualifying free zone person, or this PE is a non-qualifying free zone person. If PE is a qualifying free zone person, again, the same treatment like we already discussed. From the distribution business, 0% corporate tax. From the non-distribution business, 9% corporate tax. But if this PE of the non-resident person is non-qualifying free zone person or registered on the mainland, then income up to 375,000, 0% corporate tax, and income beyond 375,000, 9% corporate tax. Now, what is the difference in between the resident juridical persons and non-resident PE of the non-resident person? The difference is, for the resident juridical person, their worldwide income is taxable. I'm repeating, for the resident trading company, their worldwide income is taxable. And for the PE of the non-resident company, income attributable to the PE subject to tax, their worldwide income will not be subject to tax. One possibility is there, but that possibility, again, it will be converted back into the resident juridical person. That possibility is the UK company, for which I have already given one example. If that UK company is being controlled and managed from the UAE, then it will be converted from the non-resident juridical person to the resident juridical person. So in both of the situation, so if this is being controlled and managed from the UAE, it will be treated as a resident juridical person. Now the difference in between these two is, for the PE of the non-resident person, income attributable to the UAE will be subject to tax. For the resident trading company, their worldwide income will be subject to tax. Okay, the non-resident trading company might be they are earning any UAE sourced income. Again, company is registered in UK. From the UK, they are earning any UAE sourced income as well. Might be the company is registered in UK. This is a trading company. They have a customer in UAE. Once they have a customer in UAE, they are supplying to that customer in UAE. Once the customer in UAE will make any payment to the UK company, then withholding tax will be applicable. And for the time being, withholding tax is 0%. But we can say UK company is earning any UAE sourced income, that income will be subject to tax at 0%. There is a possibility that the non-resident juridical, non-resident trading company, they have any nexus in the UAE. We know about how the nexus can be established. They have given a specific decision on this. This nexus can be established that the company, the UK company, this nexus can be established that the UK company has any immovable investment in the immovable property in the UAE. If the UK company, I'm not asking any individual, I'm not asking any civil, I'm not asking any natural person, I'm asking a juridical person. If the UK company, which is going to be LLC, LLP, a listed company, whatever is, so if this company has any investment in the UAE company, then the income, whatever they are getting from the UAE, that will be subject to tax in the UAE. UK company will be liable to register in the UAE. They will be liable to submit the return. They will be subject to corporate tax. So this is the treatment of the juridical persons. The important thing, what are the key points, whatever we have discussed now? The important thing is 0% corporate tax privilege is only available to the qualifying free zone person. This privilege is not available to any other person other than the qualifying free zone person. Important. Second thing, natural person, it doesn't matter. Natural person is in the free zone. It means if someone is engaged in the trading business, your status is a natural person, you are a sole establishment, you are a civil company, you are acting in your individual capacity as a freelancer, then it doesn't matter you are in the free zone or you are on the mainland, treatment is same. Then for the qualifying free zone person, as I mentioned earlier in the first point, 0% privilege is available to the qualifying free zone person, and any non-qualifying income will be subject to tax at 9%. So if you are a qualifying free zone person, then 0% and 9% criteria. Qualifying income 0%, non-qualifying income 9%. For the non-qualifying income, they're not asking that up to 375,000, 0%, beyond that it will be subject to tax at 9%. No, they are very straightforward. They are asking qualifying income 0%, non-qualifying income subject to tax at 9%. One question I have, basically, the trading company, we have already discussed with you, the PE of the, another point that was taken away, the PE of the non-resident person, income attributable to the UAE will be subject to tax, and the PE for the, let me repeat, for the PE of the non-resident person, income attributable to the PE will be subject, income attributable to the UAE will be subject to corporate tax. For the resident juridical persons, worldwide income will be subject to tax. Now I have one question. PE can be established based upon the branch, fixed establishment, office, and office side, at least for a period of, I think this is 3 months or 6 months. I can't remember. Sorry for this. So based upon this, PE can be established based upon the fixed establishment. Okay, PE can be established if someone is acting as a agent exclusively for the non-resident person. If someone is in the UAE and one company, then one non-resident company, this non-resident company is in the USA, this non-resident company has an agent in the UAE, that agent is exclusively working for the USA company. Means the agent is negotiating the contract, signing the contract, making the deal, closing the deal. Thoroughly, the agent is working exclusively for the USA company. Agent is a natural person. We know this individual person might be a natural person, might be the individual other than any company is acting as an agent as well. If this natural person is acting as an agent for the USA company, now the question arises, this natural person will be considered a juridical person or it will be considered a PE of the non-resident person or non-juridical, natural persons or juridical person. Let me repeat, if I'm asking, if someone is acting as an agent in the individual capacity and someone is acting in the individual capacity for the non-resident person, that individual agent will be treated as a natural person, or that individual agent will be treated as a juridical person? I am leaving this question for you. Might be we'll discuss in the upcoming webinar. So whatever we have discussed for till now, I have summarized this in this chart. This is very, very comprehensive chart. Whatever we have discussed till now, I have summarized this in the discussion. This is the same thing. The trading company, this trading company can be trading as a, there is a possibility they are trading as a natural person or they are trading as a juridical person. Natural person, we know that it can be a civil establishment, it can be a civil company, or it can be a sole establishment, or it can be a freelancer. Then income is up to 1 million, 3 million, more than 3 million. 1 million, not liable to register, not liable to submit the return. CT will not be applicable, it will be out of the scope. If their income is up to 3 million, they will be liable to register, they will be liable to submit the return, but they will not be liable to pay any corporate tax by the end of 2026. And if the income is more than 3 million dirham, then they will be liable to register, submit the return. They need to map their accounting profit into the taxable profit. For the taxable profit up to 375,000, 0% corporate tax will be applicable. Any taxable profit more than 375,000, 9% corporate tax will be applicable. In this whole stream, you can see I have not defined anywhere the person is in the free zone or the person is out of the free zone. It doesn't matter, as I mentioned earlier, either you are sitting in the free zone or you are sitting out of the free zone. In both of the cases, corporate tax will be applicable. Now the juridical person, because the qualifying free zone person can be only a juridical person. Now the trading company is a juridical person. If the trading company is a juridical person, there is a possibility the resident juridical persons or non-resident juridical person. If the person is a resident juridical person, there is a possibility they are in the free zone, they are out of the free zone. If they are in the free zone, might be there is a qualifying free zone person, non-qualifying free zone person. If qualifying free zone persons, then they are selling goods to the end user or they are selling to the distributor. If they are selling to the distributor, qualifying income 0% corporate tax. End user, non-qualifying income 9% corporate tax. Non-qualifying free zone person or the company juridical person registered on the mainland, then 0% privilege will not be available. Then in this situation, 0% corporate tax will be applicable for the taxable income up to 375,000. This is same, this and this, as I mentioned earlier as well. In both of the cases, treatment is same. And any income more than 375,000, 9% corporate tax will be applicable. So non-resident juridical persons, PE of the non-resident company. The company is a PE branch of a non-resident trading company. The income attributable to the PE is subject to tax. Income attributable to the PE is subject to tax. And same like juridical person, but UAE income will be subject. PE income attributable to the PE will be subject to tax. So sorry, it should not be UAE income. It should be income attributable to the PE subject to tax. Might be this PE had an income out of the UAE as well. So non-resident juridical person is the UAE sourced income. Withholding tax will be applicable 0%, but they will be liable to pay corporate tax in the UAE. And with the passage of time, this 0% can go up. The nexus in the UAE means the non-resident trading company has investment in the immovable property in the UAE. If the non-resident trading company has any investment in the immovable property in the UAE, company to company investment, company to property investment, not investment by the natural person. If this investment would have been by the natural person, it would have been out of scope. But the investment has been made by the juridical non-resident trading company. So in this situation, they will be liable to register. They need to submit the return as well. Again, if the income is up to 375,000, 0% corporate tax. Any income behind that, it will be subject to tax at 9%. So this is okay. How we are helping businesses into the market. We are helping them to conduct the impact assessment. In the impact assessment, we are basically looking into this. What will be the impact of the corporate tax on the overall business? We are advising businesses on the restructuring, how they can optimize the tax by keeping themselves within the law. We are not advising anything which is beyond the law. How we are helping businesses, we are advising them to keep themselves in the law and how can they optimize their corporate tax. Then we're helping them in the implementation, and then advisory compliance services Crest Cooper is providing as well. So if you are in need of any of these services, don't hesitate to contact us. And my name is Mahar Afzal, mahar@crestcooper.com. You can speak to Faiza Hashmi and our managers. We are always ready to listen. We are ready to understand. We are always ready to deliver. We can be approached at info@crestcooper.com, or you can contact us at 9714339148. Thank you very much. This is over from my side. If you have any question, you are most welcome. Few questions are there. The first one, if a qualifying free zone person provides services to both free zone companies and mainland companies, please suggest 375 exemption will apply or not. If the qualifying free zone person is providing services, some services are, again, we are discussing trading business today, but we can discuss the service as well. If you are qualifying free zone person, if you are providing any services to the free zone person, it will be subject to tax. It will be considered qualifying services except six things. Where there is the banking services there, insurance services are there. These two are excluded activities. It will be subject to tax. It doesn't matter either this is being provided by the qualifying free zone person or anyone else. But some services, again, what I'm trying to say, some services are qualifying activity like funds management, wealth management, reinsurance services. So these services are qualifying activity. If these services are being provided by the qualifying free zone person to the non-free zone person, then it will attract 0% corporate tax. But some services even being provided by the qualifying free zone person to the free zone person, still these are subject to tax. As I mentioned, banking service, insurance service, these are subject to tax. So services, this is very wide area. This is very difficult to say, okay, we cannot say all services will be subject to tax, all services will not be subject to tax. We need to look into this activity-wise activity. Service by service, we need to look into this, then we'll be in a better position to advise on this. Is any free zone company not having any activities and owner is retired liable to register? Yes. But if you are not having activity, assuming this free zone company is a natural person or this free zone company is a juridical person. If natural person, you don't have any activity, it means it will fall under the bracket of 1 million dirham, then you will not be liable to register. But if this is a LLC, a public joint stock company, or you can say LLP or funds or foundation legally structured as a legal entity, then you will be liable to register. Will you please share the recording? I will put the recording on the YouTube channel. You can approach the crestcooper.com/c/crestcooper on the YouTube. Sorry, this is youtube.com/c/crestcooper. You can find all those videos on our YouTube channel. One more question is, subsidiary of a non-resident person. Subsidiary of a non-resident person would also be considered a PE. No. Subsidiary of a non-resident person is a separate standalone legal entity. It will not be considered a PE of the non-resident person, but it will be considered juridical person registered within the UAE. Can a free zone company act as a parent for tax group? Free zone company, tax group, qualifying free zone company, qualifying free zone person cannot become a part of the tax group. This is one of the limitations. But if the qualifying free zone company is opting itself to be taxed, then it will not remain qualifying free zone person, because one of the conditions of qualifying free zone person is they have not opted to be subject to tax. But if they have opted to be taxed, then it will not be, they will not remain a qualifying free zone person. Once they will not remain a qualifying free zone person, they can become a part of the tax group and they can enjoy the benefits of tax group. This is one of the limitations for the qualifying free zone person, that the qualifying free zone person cannot become a part of the tax group. This is the reason most of the company will opt to be subject to corporate tax. One more, FZD company. Yes, FZD company. Can a free zone company act as a parent of tax group if it is opt to be taxed? Yes, it should be. It can be. It can be. I totally agree. Please share your YouTube link. YouTube link. Let me find it very quickly. YouTube. So you're asking YouTube link. Okay. Okay, I have to go back. YouTube. YouTube. /c/Chris Cooper. Chat. There you go. Hopefully you have received it. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us once again. If you have any question, you can drop me an email. You can give me a call as well. And you can note down my personal number. I'm putting here 971-50291-73. You can give me a call. You can drop me an email. It will be prior supporting you. Thank you very much. Thank you and have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching the video. Click on the bell and subscribe to the YouTube channel.